Yo, this is Soul Drum 86 bringing you another video. Wanted to talk about NBA The Run before the game releases. This was a game that, I was hesitant on after, seeing the early PC open beta gameplay, or I guess closed beta. You had to get you know, you had to be selected to get it. But um, once I played the open beta and they had already made some changes by then, when it was the open beta for consoles, my tune completely changed on the game. I think that it's fun. It definitely is a lot better playing it than actually seeing it. But then again, when you actually got it in hand, like there was so like little that I had an issue with. Because I feel like they did address a lot of issues that were going on before. And then I even said in one of my previous videos about it that they still do have a lot of work to do, but it is a game that they plan on updating and things like that. However, as excited as I am about the game, as much as I would love to get the game without any sort of offline mode or ability to play AI opponents, I'm out, man. I was listening to an interview that they had with Soft Drink TV, and I understood to some degree their answer on why they didn't start with having like an offline mode of any kind. But I feel like I know it's a small team, and the guy was saying like, in a perfect world, he wishes that their team was like, with at least 200 people, and I get all of that. But and I don't know much about game development at all. I guess I'm just kind of asking the question of, well, yes, you can have your game focus on online, but two things. One of them I'm unsure of because of Google, and I'm going to get into it. But one of them is the modes that you play on online, right? Which is the tournament stuff. It's like the knockouts and then the solos and all of that. Why not have the ability to just take those? I don't know how simple it is, but what's wrong with at least taking the tournament bracket that you do have, implementing that same bracket system, for the tournament, just make it offline. Then, I mean, like later, if you want to add like a career mode where there's a create a player or even like just a street ball season mode, I'm all for it for adding that in later. But at the start of it, why not appease all of the type of fan base that you have? Appease the online guys and appease the offline guys. I think this game needed to have at least the ability to play the AI a tournament like you do with people online, but play that against AI opponents. Now, here's where the other part is there's conflicting, information. So I was, like I said, I was watching Soft Drink TV's interview with them, and I didn't hear them mention. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I did watch certain key parts about. The first one was about like what happened to wrestling games, arcade sports games, and then the second part that I went to was when he Soft Drink addressed the not having an offline mode, because he even mentioned how a lot of his subscribers are saying like that's a deal breaker, without having like a way to play the game offline. So when you Google, can you play AI opponents in NBA The Run? It says that you can, but it says there's two different ways to do it. Now, again, I still have to wait to see how this is going to be, because the beta never allowed this. From to my knowledge, I was able to do solos and I was able to do the regular one where you're just controlling one player and you're teamed up with randoms. But it says if you pick solos, you can actually play against AI opponents. This is Google. Google's not always right, but you type it in, or you type that in, and it'll pop up that yes, you can play against CPU opponents in solos. And then it also says if you set up a private match with friends, you can make it to where it could just be you playing, setting up a private match, and you're playing against AI opponents. Now, I don't know how true that is, because to my knowledge, I haven't seen it mentioned yet. It's only been mentioned that this game is online. To go further into why I just disagree with the games being online only is one, say hypothetically, if this game, fails or dies, if it's online only and then eventually they kind of cut the online service off for the game, then there's no way to play the game because you can't play it offline. That's big. That playing a game offline adds longevity. This is one of the reasons why, I mean, it took a lawsuit for it to happen, but this is one of the reasons why the Crew 2 and the Crew Motorfest eventually is going to add in an offline mode. The Crew 2 has already done it. And it helps your game last because if people still want to play your game and they still enjoy that game, you're giving them the option to continue to play that game. The fun that I was having with NBA The Run, I want to play that game by myself. Here's what I don't like. I don't like being teamed up with randoms that you might end up playing with a ball hog. And I've seen it on YouTube. I literally have seen it on YouTube. And it was a damn shame because it was a content creator who was the one that was ball hogging. And I'm just like, dude, like, this is a crappy way to play. You know what I mean? Like, I think he was trying to be funny because he was talking seriously about the game. But when you watched his gameplay, and I think he was using like Kawhi Leonard, and it was just every time they got on the ball, he never passed it back. He was just doing everything. And it would suck to, to be teamed up with somebody like that. And so Play by Play Studios, I think, really screwed up with that one because they're almost being naive to the fact that like there's toxic players in every online situation, which is one of the very many the many reasons why I do not like online gaming. I have a long list of reasons why I don't like online gaming, but the toxic players is one of them. The game that you see right now on your screen, your phone or your television, Gran Turismo 7 has a huge problem with dirty players. You play sport mode and you get these people that they don't know anything about motorsport. You can tell that they do not watch any kind of GT World or GT challenges on TV, and they just race the game as if they're playing Need for Speed. They race in this game as if they're playing Need for Speed, ramming you out of the way. Even though they can pass you legitimately if they're catching up to you, they decide to bump you to take you off track, even though, again, they can pass you the proper way, but they refuse to. You have toxic players everywhere. So to me, why not have something in the game to where people can avoid the stress of playing with toxic players? On the other hand, when you're playing solos, where you're controlling all three players, the person that you're playing against is controlling all three players. Here's the thing, though. When a game is new, you're trying to learn it. Practice mode with just using the one player isn't enough. It's okay, but it isn't enough. A lot of the times people, before they dive into playing any kind of online, they like to play the game's AI to just kind of sit back, relax, learn the game, learn some things, like learn some tricks. Nobody wants to be on the fly learning how to do things in a game. I just don't think that works. You know what I mean? Like, I can't imagine buying the game and, before, even learning, being able to truly learn how to play the game. Even though I know it's pick up and play, it's pretty easy to get. I can't imagine doing all of that on the fly while trying to also be competitive and playing against people. I don't like that. Like, I don't like that at all. Another reason as to why they needed an offline mode. I think that when you play offline, it lends more to a chill vibe, right? You get off work, you come home from school, whatever it is, right? Well, it's summertime, but you get off of work or you just want to chill, you cut on the game. You just want to play sometimes, you know what I mean? And the AI has a different level of like difficulty. So you're not sitting there, having to really focus like it's an NBA 2K game. It's an arcade pick up and play fun atmosphere. So even playing against the AI, like on a harder difficulty setting, is way more, appeasing to then having to play somebody who might be toxic or you might not like their playing style. They might do a certain thing. It's like you just don't want to have to deal with the fact of like playing with somebody competitively when you just kind of want to turn the game on and chill. So yes, like online gaming, I understand when they were mentioning how it's big now, but at the same time, online gaming does frustrate the vast majority of the fan base, in my opinion. Even though people play online, it's because it's the same reason why I play Gran Turismo 7 occasionally online now, because I've done all I can do in the game. And when the game has been out, but see, here's the difference with me though. When the game has been out for now, what, like going. It's almost going to go on 5 years with this game with Gran Turismo. I think we're in year 4. I think I've had this game since launch. I have never played online until now. It's because I've done everything. I've done all the races. I've done like all of the stuff that you can do against AI drivers. And I still actually continue to do that more than play online. But it is nice to jump in when you have a proper lobby, when people know how to race. And this goes with any game. But when people, when you jump into a lobby and people know how to race and they're being respectful and it's just a good atmosphere, it does add in a different level of fun because you're seeing how all these different players are driving. It's very different from the AI. The AI drivers have their set uh, racing line. They have their set way, and it's like it's almost robotic. When you're playing against other people, you're seeing the differences in how everybody drives. So there is a level of fun to be had with that, but it still doesn't erase the fact that online gaming is very toxic. Online gaming, it has its very, very serious issues. And so for me, I personally think it was a big mistake to not launch this game with some sort of way to play, AI opponents. Because I'll tell you right now, if there is a chance that you can play solos, but you can switch it to where you're playing against AI opponents, I will get this game on the 9th. I'm making this video on the 8th. I will buy NBA The Run on the 9th, tomorrow, as of this recording, if there is a possibility that you can play the game that way. But if you can't and you're just literally forced to play PvP, I'm sorry. Like, if you're gonna do online only experience, at least do what The Crew does, right? The Crew is a game that requires online. If online isn't working, you can't access the game, right? That's gonna be much like NBA The Run, but just walk with me, talk with me. The Crew Motorfest, in all the Crew games, well, 2 has an offline mode now, but with the Crew Motorfest, if online doesn't work, you're not playing that game. However, when the game, when you can play the game, which is the majority of the time, I'm just throwing out anomalies, you can still race against AI opponents. I have never raced against anybody other than when I'm doing the grand races and the Crew Motorfest. I don't pick to race against people, and I don't even like doing the grand races all the time. I more so enjoy doing the playlist and, those type of things and like the summit races against AI. So again, you can have an online only experience, but if you're going to do that, you still within that online only have to have the ability to have players be able to choose if they want to play against somebody or against the CPU. So as of right now, I will not be getting NBA The Run, not because I think the game is going to suck, because I think it's fun. Not because I don't want the game, but it is really simply put, it's based off of not having any kind of offline mode. And they didn't have to do anything too in depth right away. They could have done something basic just for people to continue to play through different tournaments offline. I don't think that would have been such a hard thing, even for a small team of like 18 developers. I don't think it would have been difficult to give an offline setting. Like, hey, what you can do online, you can do offline. But then later, we're going to add in some sort of like story mode campaign and stuff like that. But you should be able to do the tournaments without having to play against people. But that's all I got to say, man. I don't want to keep repeating myself. It is your boy Soul Drum 86, and I'm out. Peace.